incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes, Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Well, we're back at Bardstown with Jake Sulek, Head of VIP Experience and Education here at Bardstown Bourbon Company. And
in this amazing library room.
yeah, incredible. Thanks for having us again.
Of course.
Jake. And we're pouring a weighted expression from the Origin series. Tell us about what we're having.
Yeah, this is from the Origin series. So again, this is our flagship product. This is what we have available in all markets. These are our whiskeys, all priced between $40 and $50. The high wheat, this was the most recent addition to Origin. So this has one of the highest amounts of wheat of any wheated bourbon on the market. So in the past, we've had the Black Label Bottled and Bond. That's what's called a 20% wheater.
Yep.
This is going to have 39%, so almost twice as much wheat in it.
So
Right.
for those new to drinking bourbon or new to wheated bourbon, can you explain a bit more about like what makes it a wheated bourbon?
Yeah, of course. So all bourbon's going to begin with corn. 51% of that recipe has got to be corn. Now, traditionally, you would add a flavor grain. That flavor grain is usually rye. It's because rye is hearty, it's very spicy, adds a lot of citrus notes to it. Wheat's a little bit softer. You get more confectionery flavors, more baking flavors out of it. So in our Bottled and Bond, it's 20% wheat instead of rye. This one almost doubles that. So the recipe on this is actually only 53% corn, 39% of the wheat, and then 8% malted barley.
And what kind of flavors should we be getting from a wheat influence in a bourbon? What does it bring to a bourbon when you exchange it out for a rye?
For me, I get a lot of stone fruit.
Yep.
It tends to lean heavily into apricot, particularly like baked peaches, really soft flavors. I get a lot of dessert flavors like crème brûlée,
Yep.
right? Lemon cake is another one that I get. Really light citrus notes. They tend to lack some of the spicy tannins that you get from a rye. So they tend to be very mellow, very easy to sip.
I always find on the nose a wheated bourbon, because I grew up on a farm, it like just reminds me of harvest time.
Yes.
Like I get that grainy
Yeah.
nose to it.
See, so I often can't get that. You often talk about that, and some people talk about getting notes of corn or the grains that are in there. I often can't.
But yeah,
Can't get it. I can't.
if I'm having different ones and I don't know what's what, I can kind of pick a wheated because I'm just like, oh, that's harvest time. In a good way.
I'm way more into the stone fruit and I mean the caramel.
Yeah.
Vanilla's about the.
Well, and caramel and vanilla is a good shout out. So there's something unique about high wheat compared to everything else in the Origin series. So what's called barrel entry proof. That's the proof at which you're going to put your new make whiskey in the barrel. For the Origin series, it's 120. So that's low barrel entry proof in the United States. 125 is the ceiling.
Yep.
That's where most companies are going into the barrel. We use low barrel entry proof because we think it adds a little bit more richness and viscosity to the finished whiskey. The one exception is going to be high wheat. So this goes into the barrel at 108.
Okay.
And there's a reason for it. It gets pretty nerdy.
Let's
there's
do
a
it.
chemistry reason for it.
nerdy.
So when you're talking about oak staves and you're putting new make whiskey into the barrel, there are some chemical compounds in the oak staves that are going to be more soluble in alcohol. There are going to be some that are more soluble in water. Well, when you talk about wood sugar, the flavors that are going to give us caramel, butterscotch, toffee, those are all more soluble in water. So when you do lower barrel entry proof to start off with, you're going to develop those flavors at a higher rate than you develop something like vanilla, because vanillin is more soluble in alcohol.
Okay. That now brings me to a very strange question. If we put water in a barrel for 6 years, 7 years, would it taste like vanilla and caramel?
Yeah, you would, especially if it's a brand new barrel, absolutely. Even if it's a used barrel over a long enough period of time, you would extract some of those flavors from. Yeah. The wood sugar flavors themselves come from a tiny little part of the wood that's just beneath the char.
Yep.
It's sometimes called the red line. Okay. That's the point of caramelization when the barrel maker is creating the barrel. So that's the point where all those wood sugar flavors are coming from. So anything that you put into that barrel a long enough period of time, the right conditions, it will pull flavor out of there.
Amazing. Great.
That's great. Cause I'd never heard of people talk about what proof it goes in, but the why.
Yeah, there is real science behind that decision.
I love it.
Also, what's unique about this is the proof. What do you all think the proof is on this?
I'm going to say
Oh, here you go.
it doesn't taste high, but I'm like, is it around the 100?
I was going to say 95. Yeah, it's pretty easy drinking. Yeah.
106.
Really.
Closer.
How good.
Yeah, barrel entry proof, right, creates a lot of that viscosity. It's really rich and creamy, so it's easier to drink.
And it's sitting beautifully on my palate, like it's going to hang around there for ages.
Yeah.
It's gonna surprise us how high it is. Yeah. And it has a beautiful finish. Yeah, like you said, it stays.
Yeah.
So you can sip it over a little while.
Is there a thing for you that you prefer a high rye whiskey or a wheated whiskey? Do you have a preference, or are you a bit kind of agnostic, you don't mind?
I'm generally agnostic about it. I think most of my bourbon and rye drinking career, I leaned towards ryes.
Yep.
But I've really come around on wheated bourbon, particularly at higher proof points.
Yep.
I think something like the high wheat at 106, you really start to taste all of the flavors.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is really the proof range for me where I really like wheated bourbons.
Yeah.
It's really delicious.
And that I love this idea of the lower barrel entry proof. It's like the water that would usually be used to cut it is being barrel aged. It's more fun.
And it's a more traditional way. I mean, if you were to go back to some of the bottles that are surrounding us now, barrel entry proof 100 years ago would have been a lot lower.
Yep.
And you would have resulted in a richer, creamier whiskey. And they also would have been releasing them at lower proofs because that's what the audience demanded at the time. Yeah. So things have changed. Preferences, consumer trends tend toward higher barrel entry proofs now. But it's a great example of what you can do with low barrel entry proof.
And Bardstown being somewhere where like you don't just make your own, other people make theirs here as well. Do you find that you kind of see a lot of those trends come and go?
I don't know if they come and go. When we talk about our custom distilling program, it really just gives people the opportunity to do what they want.
Yep.
Which is just different than what we do.
Yeah.
So we've worked with over 300 partners since our inception. So we've seen pretty much every whiskey you can imagine.
That's amazing.
Come through this distillery at some point.
Amazing. And I wanted to ask a question because when you walk through the grounds here, there's one of the rickhouses in particular, although a few of them have quite a bit of glass on them, which is quite unique. Is that a design? Is it something about the way you want to age the whiskey? Is it just something nicer to look at? What does the glass do?
It's both. So yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Particularly the glass rickhouse, which is called Warehouse K, faces the Bluegrass Parkway. It's lit up at night, so as people are driving past on the highway, you see this brilliant building lit up. You can see all the barrels. But it has a functional aspect too. So we started construction on that in 2020. We replaced that entire wall. The reason is it faces the west. So the sun by 10, 11 a.m., it's really blasting the other side of the building, and the sun does that all throughout the day. So the whole half of that warehouse is heating up a lot, and it's heating up to a higher degree than any of its neighbors are. So that whole half of the warehouse is really an experiment for us. Yeah. Being a newer distillery, right? You know, this experiment's only been going on for about 2.5, 3 years, but the idea is we've got a lot of different mash bills at a lot of different floors in that building. And our master blender, Dan Calloway, is kind of keeping his eye on them and just seeing what flavor profiles are produced, what our yields are in that, what the extraction is, what kind of flavors we're developing in those barrels. And hopefully that's going to be some new exciting project in the future.
So the answer to the question of how does it affect it, we don't really know the full answer yet. But
we don't know, you know, and that's what's exciting about working here is we don't have 100 years of data in all these warehouses, right? Like we don't know what some of the flavor profiles are going to be created. I get asked a lot, what are your sweet spots? What's the best barrel spots? And the truth is, we don't know. We don't know yet.
Give us 30 years.
Yeah, check back in 20 or 30 years and we'll have a really good spreadsheet that'll have everything on there.
Well, here's to discovering new things.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. There's so many good things. So I really appreciate you coming on, Jake.
Of course.
So good and sharing some great stories.
Cheers.
Unreal. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.